Hey everybody, it's Zayla Hayes, and I was having a conversation with a friend about why they should forgive someone. And when I'm saying a conversation, I mean a conversation. Like, it took me like 3 days of convincing, you know, until she finally was like, you know what, you're right. I'll just go ahead and I'll forgive them. Um, in the middle of this video, you might hear some sound, and that's because of my AC system. It's very, very, very loud. I started to actually do a voiceover, but then I said no because I do voiceovers on my other channel. I said no, I'm actually gonna come on camera. So yeah. And unfortunately, like, this is the best place in my house to shoot a video. So yeah. Um Anyways, I was talking to my friend about the importance of forgiveness. And I mean, I was convincing. And at first, she was not trying to hear it. Everything I was saying was going in one ear and out the other. And finally, she was like, you know what, Zayla? You're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm going to try to forgive them. And I thought to myself, this would probably be a good YouTube topic because it's a lot of us out here, a lot of people out here that has or had a problem of forgiving someone, you know, and yeah. So I just want to sit here and I want to talk to somebody and I want to see if I can kind of convince someone else to basically just let that hurt go and just forgive them and move on with your life. Now, forgiveness is not just about the other person. Like, a lot of people, when they think about forgiveness, they think, oh, what you want me to do? Like, forget everything that they did to me and then talk to them and act like they didn't do whatever they did to me? And no, actually, no, that's not forgiveness. That's somebody actually being stupid, okay? Um, that's actually somebody being stupid. You have a lot of people out here that think that is forgiveness, no matter how much a person lies, cheats, talk about you, be two-faced, it don't matter. Like, they'll forgive and talk back to them, and then they get hurt again. Then they'll forgive because they feel like that's forgiveness, when in fact, no, that's just being stupid. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is basically like when you forgive, like you say, for instance, like, whatever you did to me is in the past. I'm not letting it have any kind of effects on me anymore. I'm moving on with my life. I forgive myself, okay? Because when you forgive people, you also have to forgive yourself. And it took me a very, very long time to understand that you have to forgive yourself. I'm going to bring up a couple of scenarios that happened in my life that it took me a long time to forgive people. For one was when I was in school. Of course, like most kids, I was one of the kids that used to get picked on, like in middle school. And I mean viciously. And I had just came from a prior state where I was from, and I was having a rough time. Life was not treating me good as a little kid. So moving on to a whole different state, and then I have all these people that I don't know them, and they're just constantly picking and picking and picking and picking. And like, when people treat you a certain way in public, they don't all the time know exactly what's going on with you behind the scenes, or outside of school or outside of work or whatever. So that's why I always say, be careful what you say to people. But yes, life was not treating me good, and these people just kept freaking picking, and it was making my life worse. And when I got into high school, I really didn't get picked on like that. But I still really wasn't rocking with those people that was picking on me back in middle school. And I realized I never forgave those people. Like, even when I got in college, like, I'll see them on my Facebook and I'll, like, immediately just scroll by. And another thing, why do people that don't even like you from high school or y'all never hung always be the friends on your Facebook? But anyways, I'll scroll by them or whatever, and I didn't realize the deep effect it had on me until like last year or the year before that. The year before that. And I'm like, wow, I really need to forgive them, because even though they was picking on me, you know what I'm saying? And what they said was hurtful. And yes, they intended to be hurtful to me. But at the same time, I never told them to stop. I was one of those kids where I just let everything ride, you know, or not even let everything ride, but I used to just really be afraid to speak up for myself. You know, so I never spoke up for myself. I never took up for myself in middle school. Like, they used to say whatever they wanted to say to me, and I'm just sitting there quiet, you know, just quiet, just taking it. And I realized I had to forgive myself, because at the end of the day, yourself is your best friend. Yourself is your best friend. So wouldn't you want your best friend to defend you in some kind of way? And I wasn't defending myself at all. So those kids felt like, oh, because she's not defending herself, we can continue to say whatever that we want to say to her, and she's just going to take it. That's all my fault. As well as the teachers, because honestly, 9 times out of 10, when kids get picked on in school, the teachers see it happen and they don't say a thing. I've realized that, you know, as I was growing up, that the teachers never really defended me. Like, they just let it happen, you know, or even the bus drivers on a school bus just let it happen. They never really defended you, when in reality, they should make it to the point where people should be afraid to even say anything about somebody else in class. But that's not the case in school, which is why you have so many kids nowadays that's taking their life and stuff because of bullying. But most importantly, it was my fault, because I didn't take up for myself. I wasn't defending myself. So I had to forgive myself. And once I was able to say, you know what, Zayla, I forgive you, because I understand at the time you was going through some things. You didn't know how to stand up for yourself, you know, and now you do. I know you're a different person now. And I know if we was to go back to that time in middle school, you probably would rock all them. Honestly. So I was able to forgive myself, and with forgiving myself, I was able to forgive them, because we were all kids. Kids is going to be stupid, you know. Another time that I had to figure out that I needed to forgive was, oh my God, one of the worst relationships I've had. One of the worst relationships I've ever had. And I'm not going to make a video about it because it's in the past. I thought about it though, and I'm like, I see so many girls on YouTube that's making videos about like the worst relationship or my divorce story or something like that. And I decided not to, because it's in the past. There's no point for me to sit there and give energy to that situation. But the worst relationship I've ever had took a toll out on me. And I mean, I hated that person for so long, and I just knew I was doing something because I hated that person, you know. And no, I'm not forgiving him, because what he did to me was wrong. And in turn, without me realizing it, was the way that I was treating my other relationship was based on what that person did to me, you know. And I didn't realize it. I'm sitting there, I'm carrying hurt, I'm carrying pain inside of me, and I think I'm doing something, and the whole time I'm hurting somebody that didn't hurt me. You know, I couldn't see him for who he was. I couldn't trust him or anything because of what somebody else did to me. And also, like, I started like getting like really depressed and things like that. Not because of that situation, but just the fact that I hated a whole lot of people. You know, I hated a whole lot of people I was still holding and hurt that needed to let go. Even though I knew that when he did what he did it intentionally. He didn't care about my feelings or anything. All he thought about was himself and some pleasure. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the red flags. I seen the red flags and I ignored all of them. I was collecting them, you know. It seemed as though I was collecting them. And once I thought about it and I thought about it, I'm like, Zay, like, you peeped all that though. Like, you peeped every little thing. And I'll think about like something that happened and I'm like, why didn't you break up with him then? Because you were being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was my fault. Like, yes, the first time I caught something, yes, it was definitely his fault. But all the other times, that was on me because I seen the red flags. And I was like, okay, you know what, Zay? I forgive you because I understand that when you're young, you're in your early 20s, you're going to do some stupid things. You're going to be dumb for somebody. So, you know, I forgive you. I really, really forgive you, you know. And with that, I was able to forgive him because, you know, I was able to forgive him. It's weird, but once I learned how to forgive myself, I was able to forgive him, you know, which is pretty cool. You know, with what I would tell anybody that is struggling with like forgiveness or anything is it starts with you. Sit down, think about it, you know, and just think like, what could I have done to kept that from happening? Just like when it comes to my family. In my last video, if you watch my last video, I talked about how my family, one side of my family, they're like very into like hair. Your hair has to be like long and all the way down your back and stuff like that. And if it's not, they will continue to talk about you like my uncle and my aunt used to do when I was a child, you know. And that took a lot for me to get over, But I forgave them. Why? Because I realized I never addressed the issue. To this day, I never talked to them about it. I've never addressed the issue to them. Oh, sorry. I was texting. My fiance has said something to me. But I've never addressed the issue. And I just kept it on the inside. And every time I would go to family functions, I would peep that they, you know, they're snickering about me or they give each other those looks or whatever. And I'll peep it. And then I go home and then I feel totally upset about it. I feel so horrible about it. I'm like, you know what? Next year, I'm not going over there. I don't want anything to do with them, whatever. And I just sweep it under the rug, act like it didn't happen. Then by the time next year come, I think I forgave them. So then I go back, right? And then something else happens. I peep something and I'm like, you know what? I'm so tired of this. I don't even know why I have to deal with this. You know, I'm so sick of this. Yeah, like I'm just so freaking tired of it. And I don't want anything to do with them. But the whole time, I was not telling them how I felt. I never once said, you know what, I don't appreciate you saying anything about my hair. For your information, I love my hair. I love the length of my hair. I love the texture of my hair. You know, I love the skin tone. I love my skin tone. You know, I love the tone of my skin. And there's nothing about me that I want to change. And just because you're insecure with something about yourself does not mean that you have to make me insecure about something about myself because I love myself. You know, instead of for me saying that, I just ate it and then I didn't want to forgive them. But once I realized, Zay, all you had to do was say something, stand your ground, just say it, you know, maybe things would have been different. So I had to forgive myself in that situation, and in turn I forgave them. Do I talk to them? No. Not every time that you forgive somebody, you have to talk to them, because sometimes in order to stay in forgiveness, you got to stay away from them, because then they might do something else that'll make you not like them all over again, you know? And you don't want that to happen. If it's that type of situation, if they're that toxic, you know, you don't want that to happen. But forgive them for yourself. I mean, if you watch my last video, I talked about how, like, I used to hide my hair. I didn't want to wear my hair or whatever like that. Like, I've been rocking my real hair, growing it into locks since October of last year, the end of October. So yeah, like, I love myself. Like, I'm authentically me, besides the makeup I put on my face for you guys, because honey didn't get no sleep last night thanks to my son. My 1-year-old son was partying hard last night, so I didn't get no sleep. So that's why I have the makeup on. But most of the time, I don't have on makeup. So most times I will get on here barefaced. But I just knew that the bags under my eyes was crucial. And no. I don't want to put that on YouTube and it's going to be public. You know, I want to at least look a little decent, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you have to forgive whoever it is that hurt you, whoever it was that did you wrong. They're stupid, and you have to tell yourself that they dumb. But you also have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to say, you know, what did I do what could I have done to prevent it, or not prevent it, but what could I have done to have like a different outcome or something? Like, could I have stood up for myself? Could I have paid more attention to those red flags and cut him off when I needed to cut him off? Like, what could I have done? And when you realize what you could have done and how you should have took up for yourself or whatever, forgive yourself, and in turn forgive them. Move on, live your life, vibrate high. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do another video about spirituality, how to go on a spiritual journey. So, how going on a spiritual journey will definitely help you forgive people. I know, honestly, that's how it helped. That's how I was able to forgive a lot of people. But anyways, yeah, talk at you later.